What up, people? It's your boy, Master Chudy, out here with another video. So, Harley Quinn has come out, and it's going to take me a while to watch that movie. I've been busy, but that doesn't mean I haven't been tracking its interest. So, what to say? We've heard how it's been out Thursday, Friday, and its revenues have not been good. We're seeing 4 million for Thursday night. That's considered extremely low compared to Shazam, which pretty much they have the same budget, whether or not, even though Harley Quinn, even though this Birds of Prey film is about $3 million shy of the Shazam budget. Also, it then went on to get 13.4 million estimated Friday night. That's not good at all whatsoever. And there's a lot to unpack here, but the reason this video is going to focus on two parts. One, the first part is going to be very short. This does not really ruin my confidence in Warner Brothers much, simply because when I heard this movie, oh, this is going to take an L. This is going to be an L for Warner Brothers. But with the recent successes they had with Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, and now the Joker film, I was like, they know how to make good films. And this one will be just an unfortunate blip in the streak of good films they've had. So, yes, I was not too worried about DC's direction in its films for now. So that's a ticket on the second L. To the second L, yeah, pretty much this film highlighted a lot of the aspects I didn't like. It's important, and I would hope that Warner Brothers and even maybe the MCU moving in the future, even though the MCU is not stuck in its ways and they're going to do what they're going to do, but Warner Brothers specifically, if there's any time for you to be true to your source material, now's the time. Clearly, when you watch Harley Quinn, or if you watch the Birds of Prey in this film, if you've watched it, none of these characters are the way they are. They're not like how they should be in the comics, which are better. The most egregious form are the villains. We see a Black Mask, and from what I've heard, Ewan McGregor did a bang up job playing Black Mask for what he was as the movie wanted. But when I heard that they're going to make Black Mask the way he was, I can't help to think that, man, what the heck is going on? Now we've had, we know how Roman Sionis is. Black Mask, he's a gangster. He wants power. He believes Gotham is his, not out of any type of misogynistic reasoning, but because, as we've seen in the comics, much like the crime families of the Maronis and the Falcones, there's a certain pride and honor, technically, of being a crime lord in Gotham, that you have the city in the palm of your hands. And that's what Black Max has always wanted. We've seen, iterations of him in the Batman, where he's kind of like a mathematician type. Well, not mathematician, but he kind of is a calculated crime lord. He likes to do things on schedule. He's got his number one. We see that in, by the way, in Batman Under the Red Hood, where his number one was, in fact, a woman. Kelly Hu played her, voiced her, very good. She's Cheshire, one of the best voice actors in the game right now. But we see that Black Mass is like, I'm about my money, I'm about my rep, I've got all of this. He would never, how should I say, infantilize himself by saying, oh, I hate Harley Quinn because she's a woman. Like, I'm sure Black Max hates a lot of people, but not because of things so petty. Like, you've got to harm his rep. You've got to go after his turf. That's why Under the Red Hood, he wanted to go after Red Hood. Like, this guy's trying to rough up my turf. He's taking over my operation, getting dirty with my money. I can't have that. That's disrespectful for me and my business. And to see and hear that Black Mass is out here being flamboyant and doing dumb things and just, being silly and, just being a dick for being a dick, an asshole for being an asshole. It's kind of like you turn like somebody who's a little bit more complex than that. And we even get to see more of that complexity in the Rebirth comics when he first meets Jason in Red Hood and the Outlaws, where, he wants Jason to join him. He has a vision for Gotham, even though it's evil, and he still wants the power and everything like that. And I feel like I know, definitely know that if I watch Birds of Prey, I'm going to be looking at Black Mass saying that, man, what have they done to you? Same thing with Victor Zsasz. It's a shame that I watched the first season of Gotham and then I never got into it again, and I kind of didn't like the liberties they took. But people like the show, and I can't blame them for liking the show. It has some good aspects. But one thing that they did get correct was they got correct Victor Zsasz in Gotham, and I'm now hearing that Victor Zsasz only cuts himself for every woman he's killed, which is kind of, once again, Victor Zsasz is a serial psychopathic murderer. He doesn't discriminate. If I kill you, man, woman, or I don't know whether he's done it. Oh no, I mean, I've seen in the Red Hood of the Outlaws, he was not afraid to kill a child. So yeah, men, women, or children, he'll give a notch on you, on his body. And of course, I didn't know this initially, that he has a special place in his heart for Batman, which is why he never cuts himself around his heart. He's saving that for the Batman. But Harley Quinn has not done anything to Victor Zsasz in this universe, so why change the thing, man? I think so. That's what the villains of how much you've changed it. And it would have been so interesting to see, Harley use her wits instead of doing the whole, hey, silly Billy, and let's all be friends and everything like that. No. If there was a villain like Black Mask and you really wanted to commit to Harley being, the main villain, borrow from Assault on Arkham, where even though they didn't really explore it, she kind of pissed off the Penguin and did all of that shenanigans and whatnot. It would have been a good. This would have been a good way to do it, but that's just me. Now we get to the heroes. Now, first off, the one thing that irked me was Cassandra Cain. I once again, I'm telling you all a fact. I didn't see this movie, but this is what I'm getting from sources, from people who've seen the movie, and also from what I've seen in the trailers, and also from what I've seen in the TV spots, and even as egregious as it was, you wanted to put an orphan. Now, before I saw how they dressed up Orphan, I was like, how's Orphan gonna fit into a Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn? Orphan's a little bit serious, hardcore. It's kind of hard. But then we see Orphan Cassandra Cage, and I have to say I was very disappointed. I'm reading Batman and the Outsiders, and Cassandra Cain is a fighter, one of the best. One of the best fighters within the Bat family. Daughter of Lady Shiva, the most dangerous woman in DC Comics. And to see Orphan being reduced to a common thief, a very bad thief at that, from what I've heard from people, is really a a disgrace on her character. And it's really sad, really, really, really sad that, this powerful character has been reduced to, like, you're like the dead weight of this movie. And because from what I hear, everybody's trying to protect this girl from Black Mask. Um, Now, at least that motivation from Black Mask, that, oh, she stole what I wanted, I can see Black Mask trying to say, hey, I'm going to kill anybody who gets in my way of taking this girl, because this could promote my rep and promote my wealth, not wealth is. So yeah, I get that. But Cassandra Kane, sorry, not Cage. This is an MK. This ain't Mortal Kombat. But Cassandra Kane is an assassin, one of the best fighters in the DC universe. If she were to steal anything, and you had been true to her character, then Black Mask would be like, oh man, I got to start hiring some guns. And this is another thing like this. If they had gone that route and Cassandra Cain was competent, powerful, and strong, it would be fun. And to have Harley in the mix, it would be fun to have, say, um, oh, I've got to start calling in some big guns. Yo, let me call up Deathstroke. I'm going to pay him what he wants. Let me get Will Smith involved. If they wanted to, get me Deadshot, get in that, or Bronze Tiger, or whatnot. I'm just spitballing ideas. But yeah, Cassandra Cain was probably the one that hurt me the most, especially because I've seen her in action, and I just don't like when we drastically change characters like that. The rest, I hear Renee Montoya was good, and there's really not much you can do with the early Renee Montoya. Um, it would have been nice for her to have some Harvey Bullock in there, because it sounds like the cops in her precinct had the attitude of Harvey Bullock minus the gruff charm that is kind of needed for their dynamic to work. So I can see why people didn't like that. I heard Huntress was very good, and I'm glad they kept up with her backstory. Um, People said Black Canary was pretty good too, um, but once again, due to the outfits, due to the whole atmosphere, none of them represent their comic counterparts. Which brings me back to once again the point I was making with the second point of my whole rant spiel thing. It's important now, moving forward. I would hope that DC Comics says, you know what? Say if we were going to do, say if we were going to do a Deathstroke film, for just an example. I hope it's still in the works, or let's even keep it to women films because I think they're important. Save for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, that's an example of trying something new. Instead of setting Wonder Woman in World War II, you put it in World War One, and I think that it's kind of good because you never get a lot of attention to World War One. It's very important, but that's one way of keeping the character true, but just changing something slightly different. You know, Steve Trevor is a World War One Allied pilot. He crashes. Bam. Um, and things change. I'm very much excited for the 1984 Wonder Woman, be that as it may. But Wonder Woman out of the way, say you were going to have a, let me see, what's a good female character to make a movie out of? Mm, let's say Vixen, because that's the one that's been playing in my head. Now, say if you have Vixen, I must digress. It's important to get everything about her character right. This is not a chance to take liberties because when you take liberties, it's very risky, especially in the comic book films now. The source material is so good. People underestimate the source material so much. And we're in an era where you shouldn't underestimate the source material. If you're making a Vixen movie in the future, read that comic, gain as much source material, and adapt it about 90% fully. I think that's very good. Because the reason why we have comic book movies is precisely because of the characters that were made popular because of the source material. Same thing if you wanted to examine villains as well. Source material. Same thing if you wanted to do Deathstroke. Source material. Source material is extremely important. And I think Birds of Prey is an example of deviating from the source material extremely. Now, we look at a movie like Aquaman, where the suits were on point, looking good. Ocean Master's suit looked great. Aquaman's suit, they embraced the gold and green. As people thought it would be lame, they were like, no, we're not going to do the Snyder suit where it's kind of edgy, but we're going to go back to Aquaman's roots and take that suit. He looked he looked incredible. And then let's move to Shazam, with Aquaman again, borrowed heavily from the New 52, putting in the trench. You'll have Black Manta looking fantastic. And he was one of the greatest parts of the film, I think. And they said, you know what? James Wan was like, I'm going to dive into the source material. I'm going to look into the New 52. People have their issues on that, but I'm going to go into the New 52. I'm going to take from the trench. I'm going to add horror elements to it. I am going to make sure the suits look great. Black Manta suit, 100% accurate. Ocean Master suit, 100% accurate. Mera looking 100% accurate. Aquaman, 100% accurate. Then we get to Shazam. It was a fairly cheap film for DC Films, 100 million. But they said we're going to have fun with this. We're going to have fun with this. Dr. Savannah, very dark character, but they got the coat, they got the eye. Mark Strong was great, and you can say pretty accurate. Billy Bastion and all of his siblings transforming into the Shazam team, accurate, looking great, fun, excellent. People say that Shazam didn't make a lot of money because of its quality. Wrong. That was a great film, except Guess what? When you're sandwiched in between Captain Marvel before you, people trying to get that MCU high, and then you have Endgame after you, so they can be prepared for that. Shazam ain't gonna make a lot of money, but it's impressive that it made profitability with its budget. It is what it is. Birds of Prey. You borrowed the worst elements of Suicide Squad just by looking, and you didn't go with it. So, what do I have to say about this rant that I made? Yes, DC is going to lose money on this. It was going to be well, it's too early to say it's a flop, but it's kind of trending into that direction, which is unfortunate. But um, I've already chalked that up to an L. But the second and most important part is that moving forward, it's important for companies to, well, for studios to really stop underestimating the source material. Source material is important. The source material can make your movie very good. And people, it will get butts in the seats. You know, you got to stop catering your films to certain messages. Sometimes the source material will do the job that you want to do for you even better, and people will come and people will enjoy. Which is why to this day, DC's animated movies kind of beat its live actions. So once again, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for enjoying this rant with me. Just wanted to get that out of my system. I probably will not watch Birds of Prey until later in the month, but I must watch Sonic. I think I do need to watch Sonic. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications. Make sure you're notified, and when you hit that bell, click all so that you can get all the notifications for all the videos I make. I do these videos, whether they be reviews, rants, whatnot, for you, the people, because I want to discuss, comics, film, and other geek stuff. Write in the comments how you feel. And whether I'm kind of overreacting, because this is a rant, or whether I got it down. I'd like to hear what you got to say. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon. Or stay tuned for the next one. Peace.